My name is Leonard. Leonard Hayes. I'm 76 years old. I'm recording this because I don't know how much time I have left to say it out loud.
There's a drawer in my bedroom, top right. Oak dresser my father built in 1962. For 40 years I've kept something in there. Not hidden exactly, just kept. It's a letter, unopened. I know who it's from. I've always known. And I think that's why I never opened it. Some things, once you read them, you can't pretend anymore. I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania. My father worked at the mill. My mother kept house. I had one brother, Danny, 2 years older than me. Danny was everything I wasn't. He was loud, funny. Everyone liked him. He'd walk into a room and people would turn, not because he demanded it, just because that's who he was. I was quiet. I read books. I kept my head down. My father used to say, "Leonard's got his mother's temperament." He didn't mean it as a compliment. When Danny graduated high school in 1965, he enlisted. Vietnam. He didn't have to, no one made him, but that's what you did back then if you were someone like Danny. You went. I remember the day he left. We stood on the porch, August heat, cicadas screaming in the trees. My mother cried into a dish towel. My father shook Danny's hand and told him to make us proud. Danny looked at me, smiled, said, "Take care of them, Lenny." I nodded. I didn't hug him. I've thought about that 1,000 times since. He came back in 1967, 20 years old, different. He didn't talk much anymore, didn't laugh. He'd sit on the back porch for hours, smoking, staring at nothing. My mother would try to bring him food. He'd wave her off. My father didn't know what to do with him, so he got angry, told Danny to stop moping, to get a job, to pull himself together. I tried once, sat next to him on the porch, asked if he wanted to talk. He looked at me, eyes hollow, said, "You wouldn't understand, Lenny." And I believed him. So I left him alone. 3 months later, Danny was gone. He took my father's rifle, drove out to the woods near Clearfield, parked the truck by the creek where we used to fish as kids. They found him the next morning. I was 19 years old. I don't remember much from the funeral, just flashes. My mother's face, the flag they folded, the way my father stood there, stone-faced, like if he moved, he'd shatter. People said things, kind things. He was a hero. He gave everything. It's a tragedy. But no one said what I was thinking, that I had let him sit there, alone, suffering, and I did nothing. I went off to college that fall, got a degree in accounting, met a woman named Carol, married her in 1971. We had 2 kids, Sarah and Michael. I worked, provided, kept busy. I didn't talk about Danny. Carol knew, of course. She knew I had a brother who died, but I never told her the whole story, never told her about the porch, about the silence, about the fact that I walked away when he needed me most. I told myself it was too painful, that it was better to move forward. But the truth is, I was ashamed. In 1985, my mother passed. Heart attack, sudden. We went back to Pennsylvania to settle the estate. My father had died 2 years before. The house was empty, cold. Carol and I sorted through everything. Boxes of old photos, Danny's high school yearbook, his medals still in the case. And then, in my mother's desk, I found it. An envelope. My name on the front. Leonard Hayes. Danny's handwriting. I stood there, holding it, and I felt my hands start to shake. Carol asked if I was okay. I said yes. I put the letter in my pocket. I didn't open it. I told myself I would, later, when I was ready. But I never was. I brought the letter home, put it in that drawer, top right, and I left it there. Years passed. Sarah grew up, became a teacher. Michael went into engineering. Smart kid. Quiet, like me. Carol and I had a good life. Not perfect, but good. We took vacations, celebrated birthdays, watched our kids graduate, get married, have children of their own, and the whole time that letter sat in the drawer. Sometimes I'd open the drawer to get socks or a belt, and I'd see it, the envelope, yellowed now, my name in Danny's handwriting. I'd close the drawer. I told myself it didn't matter, that whatever Danny had written, it wouldn't change anything. He was gone. I couldn't bring him back. But deep down I knew. I was afraid. Afraid of what he might have said. Afraid that he'd asked for help and I'd ignored it. Afraid that reading it would confirm what I'd always believed, that I failed him. So I kept it closed. In 2003, Michael called me, said he needed to talk. We met for coffee. He looked tired, thinner than usual. He told me he was struggling, depressed, he said, had been for a while, didn't know what to do about it. I listened, nodded, told him he should see someone, a therapist, that it was good he was talking about it. He said he'd think about it. We finished our coffee, hugged, said we'd talk soon. I drove home feeling uneasy. Carol asked how it went. I said fine, but I couldn't shake the feeling. A few weeks later, Michael called again, said he was doing better, started seeing someone, it was helping. I felt relieved, but also something else, guilty. Because I realized that when Michael told me he was struggling, I'd been patient, understanding. I told him to get help, to talk to someone. But when Danny sat on that porch 40 years ago, I walked away. I told myself it was different, that we didn't know as much back then, that mental health wasn't something people talked about. And that's true, but it wasn't the whole truth. The whole truth is, I was scared. Scared of Danny's pain, scared of not knowing what to say, scared that if I got too close, I'd have to feel it too. So I left him there, and I've carried that ever since.
In 2019, Carol got sick. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. They said 6 months, maybe a year. She made it 11. Those 11 months, I didn't leave her side. I bathed her, fed her, held her hand through the worst of it. She died at home. Sarah and Michael were there. It was peaceful, as much as these things can be. After the funeral, the house felt enormous, empty. I'd sit in the living room, in the chair where Carol used to read, and I'd think about all the things I never said to her. Not big things, small things. How much I loved the way she hummed when she cooked. How grateful I was that she stayed, even when I was distant, even when I kept parts of myself locked away. I thought about the letter, still in the drawer. One night, a few months after Carol passed, I couldn't sleep. I got up, went to the bedroom, stood in front of the dresser. I opened the drawer. The letter was there, same as always. I picked it up, sat on the edge of the bed, and I thought, this is it. 40 years, just open it. But I couldn't. My hands were shaking. My chest was tight. I put it back, closed the drawer, went back to bed. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Maybe because I'm 76 now, and I can feel it. The end. Not tomorrow, not next week, but soon. And I'm starting to realize something. It's not the letter I'm afraid of. It's what it represents. All the moments I didn't show up. All the times I chose silence over discomfort. All the years I spent protecting myself from pain. And in doing so, kept everyone at arm's length. Danny, Carol, even my own kids sometimes. I thought I was being strong, steady, reliable, but I was just absent. Last week, Sarah came to visit, brought her daughter, my granddaughter, Emily. She's 8. We were sitting in the backyard. Emily was drawing. Sarah was telling me about her job, some trouble with the administration at her school. And I realized I wasn't really listening. I was thinking about Carol, about Danny, about the letter. Sarah stopped mid-sentence, looked at me. "Dad," she said, "are you okay?" I looked at her, and for the first time in a long time, I told the truth. "No," I said, "I don't think I am." She didn't push, just nodded, said, "Do you want to talk about it?" I thought about it, and then I told her about Danny, about the porch, about the letter I've kept for 40 years. She listened, didn't interrupt. When she finished, she reached over and put her hand on mine. "Have you ever thought about opening it?" she asked. I shook my head. "I don't know if I can." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Maybe it's not about what's in the letter, Dad. Maybe it's about what you've been carrying all these years." I didn't know what to say to that, but I've been thinking about it ever since. This morning, I woke up early. The house was quiet. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and I thought about all the things I've held on to, all the things I've kept locked away, thinking that if I didn't look at them, they couldn't hurt me. But they did hurt me, every day. In the distance I kept, in the silence I chose, in the moments I let slip by because I was too afraid to be present. I don't know if I'll open that letter. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I'm starting to understand that it's not really about the letter. It's about the fact that for 40 years I've been living as if the past could stay in a drawer, as if I could keep moving forward without ever turning around. But you can't. The past doesn't stay behind you. It walks with you. It shapes the way you see the world, the way you love, the way you let people in, or don't. And if you don't face it, if you don't let yourself feel it, it becomes a kind of cage. I see that now. I think about Danny a lot these days, about the boy he was before the war, the way he'd ruffle my hair and call me little brother, even though I hated it. I think about Carol, the way she'd look at me sometimes, like she was waiting for me to say something, and I never did. I think about my kids, my grandkids, and I wonder how different things might have been if I'd been brave enough to show up, really show up, not just physically, but emotionally. If I'd let myself be seen, if I'd let them see me. I don't have much time left to figure that out, but I'm trying. I called Michael yesterday, asked if we could talk, really talk. He sounded surprised, but he said yes. We're meeting next week. I don't know what I'll say yet, but I'll say something. That's more than I've done before. Maybe that's what matters. Not that you get it right, but that you try, even if it's late, even if it's hard, even if you're 76 years old and you've spent most of your life running from the very things you needed to face. I don't know if anyone will hear this. I don't even know why I'm recording it. Maybe I just needed to say it out loud, to admit that I got it wrong, that I spent so much of my life afraid of pain, that I missed out on connection, and that I'm sorry for all the times I wasn't there, for all the words I didn't say. If you're listening to this and you have someone in your life who's struggling, don't do what I did. Don't walk away. Don't tell yourself it's not your place, or that they'll figure it out, or that you don't know what to say. Just sit with them. That's all. Just sit with them. And if there's something you've been holding on to, some letter or memory or regret that you've kept locked away because you're afraid of what it might mean, maybe it's time. Not because it'll change the past, but because it might change what's left. I'm Leonard Hayes. I'm 76 years old, and I kept something in a drawer for 40 years. I still don't know if I'll ever open it, but I'm starting to think that maybe that's okay. Because the real thing I've been keeping in that drawer isn't the letter, it's permission. Permission to feel, to grieve, to admit that I'm human and that I failed, and that maybe, even now, that's not the end of the story. Maybe there's still time to show up, even if it's just for a moment, even if it's just for today.
Thank you for listening. If this meant something to you, I'd be glad to know. But even if it didn't, I'm grateful you stayed.